Welcome to another tournament episode. This time I'll be playing Kung Fu Clowns against Sumo Wrestlers Itty Critters, seed 7 against seed 26. And the bases are Ancient Dojo, Strategic Syrup Reserve, and Juice Bar. As always, we start with the highest seed, so Sumo Wrestlers Itty Critters. And we don't have a great starting hand, we just have one minion, which ability is pretty much useless right now, but we'll play him anyways. And then we'll use Technique Price for 3 power counters, powering him up to 6. And then we can use Evolution later to transform it into one of our king minions. Let's go to Kung Fu Clowns. So let's start with the only action we had in hand, drawing 2 cards, and then simply playing Cricket, and Cricket can steal a power counter. I think Kung Fu Fighters are quite a counter against Sumo Wrestlers, as Sumo Wrestlers use a lot of power counters. Kung Fu Fighters can steal them. But 5 power is still enough to play Evolution. And it's between Yokozuna and Critter Champion. I chose Yokozuna this time because he also gives us control over the base. But I mainly play him for the card draw. Of course, we could have used Critter Champion for the same reasons, but Critter Champion is a bit more depending on what minions are in our deck. We can also, with our regular minion play Sumo Rookie and discard Krakatoad. I like discarding those Itty Critter minions, the small ones, because in the discard pile they can be shuffled to the deck more easily, and which is ultimately the place where we want them to be. Okay, something I notice here is that we have a lot of destruction actions in hand. So we could just play one minion and destroy some minions. And even though Yokozuna is a 6 power, we could destroy him with Everybody is Kung Fu Fighting. I placed 2 extra power counters on him to protect him for the Kung Fu Fighter destruction, but there was one card that could still destroy him easily, and we had this card in hand. So if Everybody was Kung Fu Fighting, we can destroy Donald McRonald and Yokozuna. And after that we draw 2 and pass turn. Itty Sumos only have 1 minion, so they will play Rookie Sumo. I'm not discarding a card. I'll just play Ittypedia to prepare for a future turn maybe. Then draw 2 cards. Also, the power counters can easily be stolen by Kung Fu Fighter actions. So Kung Fu Clowns will play a Drunken Master, place a power counter on the Drunken Master, and then play a little bit Frightening. This will not only destroy one of our opponent's minions, but will also give us access to our Titan. So by transferring 2 power counters, we can play Sifu. And Sifu will pretty much give us 1 power counter per turn. And of course we'll place him on the base with a 5-4-3 VP spread. Because this base is the least likely to score soon, so we can have this engine Titan out for a longer time. So still a lot of terminal actions in hand. We can play a top tier and then just draw 2 cards, waiting for some better non-terminal actions. Kung Fu Clowns can now use Sifu to transfer a power counter and place an extra power counter. Then we can use the talent again from Drunken Master. And we'll go ahead and play another Drunken Master, trying to spread out a little bit. And also using our destruction abilities, this time destroying the top tier. And hopefully we can use clown actions in the future to replay those Kung Fu destruction actions. Sumo critters just have 1 minute to play again, a Liferu. But that's actually quite a good timing since we can shuffle Yokozuna back into the deck. And then still not really a good action here to play right now. I might just play Grasp the Belt to move Drunken Master back to Strategic Zero Preserve. This way our opponents cannot move our minions either. And we were insanely lucky with our draw, drawing Yokozuna right back. Okay, so first of all, we can transfer a power counter. And then we can use Dragon Warrior, transferring 6+1 power counters to him, which we can later transfer back when we want to score a base. Then Clown in the box to play an extra minion, play a Cricket, transferring a power counter from one of our Drunken Master, from the other Drunken Master, so we can activate both of them again to generate a power counter. Then draw 2. Okay, so since we have Yokozuna back in hand, we have regained a lot of control over the board again. So we'll move the Dragon Warrior to Strategic Zero Preserve, giving us a very cheap second place. We can make this even cheaper with Grasp the Belt, also moving their 4-power Cricket. Then we score the base and we get 2 very cheap victory points while wasting a lot of our opponent's power. So the new base is Back Alley, which might be a good base for Sumo critters to hang out, as their power counters cannot be stolen and they cannot be destroyed by the Kung Fu actions. So let's play Lady Whirlwind and destroy Liferu. We won't stop being aggressive with Kung Fu fighters. And why not play Juggling? Let's see what the top 3 cards of our deck are. Only minions will be returned. All right. So an important thing to notice here is that we had to reveal the 3 minions. So our opponent knows that another Lady Whirlwind might be coming soon. So first of all, we'll use Yokozuna to draw a card. And then play Critter Coach. We are going to search for Tadpor, probably the most or the strongest of those small Itty critter minions. We will use its ability to move Lady Whirlwind to Ancient Dojo, and with Yokozuna there we can move her back anytime we want, using our opponent's power against him. Then we play Bulking Stew. This is usually a card for endgame. I just use it for 2 power counters now, because I don't want it to be staying around in my hand for the entire game. This also protects our Critter Coach against that possible Lady Whirlwind. So, like I said, Lady Whirlwind will be played, but she will be played on Ancient Dojo. And then with Clown Pyramid and Pie in the Face, 2 actions I usually use in a terminal way. And this will make her a power 8 minion. so we can use our ability to destroy Yokozuna again. I think it was worth sacrificing those 2 actions to get rid of Yokozuna. Also, clowns don't mind their actions being in the discard pile. Back to Sumo Critters. We can at least draw 3 cards now. And then we play a top tier, making sure we get a 2nd place on Izen Dojo. However, clowns still have a trick up their sleeve. They can play Banana Peel. I think this is probably the best clown section, especially when it comes from the discard pile, but for now we'll play it from hand to move or to Lady Whirlwinds. We'll also transfer a power counter with Sifo to place another power counter, and then play a Drunken Master, giving him a power counter. I accidentally placed it on the wrong minion, but the power stays the same. And we do this because Itty Critters might play multiple minions before the base scores. We will be playing a minion first, play Harlequin, and we will place Clown Car in the discard pile. I really like this card in the discard pile because it only makes sense to play when you have very strong cards in your discard pile, especially when it's late game, so not now. Our opponent can play a Critter Coach, playing Taphor, and this is of course very dangerous. They can now move Lady Whirlwind again, and this will result in a tie. Everything gets discarded, and I think it's very important for Sumo Critters to get Taphor back into their deck as soon as possible, because it's one of their most important Itty Critter minions. Akihabara High comes into play. We draw 2 and pass turn back to Sumo Critters. Okay, still not much choice for minion place. We'll play a Rookie Sumo, discarding Critter Cube for 2 power counters, and they cannot be stolen because of the base. This will also place a power counter on top tier, and then we'll play Gotta Get 'em All to once again shuffle back Yokozuna, as well as a bunch of other minions, including Taphor. Also Krakatoad, which is usually also a very important minion for them. But with Rookie Sumo, we actually have 5 copies of Krakatoad, 4 of which can also be used non-terminally. And I believe we could also have played Rainbow Rock during our opponent's turn when we won the base, because it was a tie. Wow, okay, the draw is insane. We drew both of our king minions. Okay, clowns, Kung Fu Fighters are going to play Harlequin, going to discard another action, and discard, I'll just discard an action I really don't want to draw. Just making my draw better rather than preparing an action play from my discard pile. I won't be using Sifu because I already have enough power to score back alley with Mime, Banana Peel, and Fastest Lightning. So we go to Sumo Critters. Which king minion to play? Let's first play Body Slam and move Lady Whirlwind to back alley. And then we can score the base with Yokozuna. Critter Champion is a bit more versatile. She has a bit more options. We just shuffled all our minions back. So I'd rather spend Yokozuna to score a base than Critter Champion. I did forget to draw a card here with Yokozuna. And then we get a new base, which is the Mean Streets. We draw 2 and pass turn. Okay, Kung Fu Clowns are going to play Mime. And then replay Clown Car. And then we are going to shuffle back Dragon Warrior and Lady Whirlwind. Hoping, of course, we will be just as lucky as our opponent. And then we do have an extra action from Clown Car, which is placed at the bottom of our deck. So we have 2 action plays, actually. We can play Ancient Chinese Art, placing a power counter. But I don't really want to play Fastest Lightning right now, because we'll just keep it to 1 action. Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious that we are going to play Critter Champion right now. Usually my strategy with her is to power her up with power counters. This can be done easily with Rookie Sumo. But in this matchup it's a bit more risky due to the Kung Fu fighters stealing their power counters. But I'm still going to try it, because we need that powerful Critter Champion, and this will also give a power counter to top tier. And a power counter to Rainbow Rock for playing a power 2 minion. We will use Rainbow Rock to shuffle back in a Sumo Rookie. And then we move Rainbow Rock to the Mean Streets with its talent and destroy Ancient Chinese Art. Rainbow Rock on Mean Streets is very strong, because we know that our opponents cannot move their Titan, so we have a guaranteed second place there, if we don't want to win it ourselves. Okay, Kung Fu Fighter Clowns still want to win this base. They're going to steal a power counter with Cricket. Then use Sifu to transfer another one. And we are a bit in a risky situation, because we have expert timing. So we want a minion with a lot of power counters, but Mean Streets will destroy the highest powered minion, so we have to be careful there. Fighting Spirit Prize is going to draw us 2 cards and place 2 power counters again, which we will place on Critter Champion. And we can actually score this base this turn. First we will play a top tier. This will give +1 power until the end of the turn to Critter Champion. Then we use her talent to search for a Rookie Sumo. Discarding a card. And then we get 2 power counters from Sumo Rookie, 1 power counter on top tier, and also 2 conditional power from the base. And of course the other top tier on Ancient Dojo also gains a power counter. Then we score the base. And this brings Sumo critters in a very good position. They can try to win Ancient Dojo, or if there's enough time, maybe the Mean Streets even, and then win the game. Alright. Kung Fu Clowns are kind of missing their destruction at this point. They can still steal some counters though. And it's very annoying that we cannot get rid of Rainbow Rock. We will play everybody knew their part to play an extra minion. Harlequin will discard an action, just like last time. I'll just discard some junk that I don't want to draw. We already have enough terminal actions in hand, so fast as lightning. And then Sifu to transfer power counter. So yeah, like I said, it's very risky with mean streets, so we'll actually go ahead and spread these power counters a bit more evenly over our minions. Having having 3 4-power minions and 1 5-power minion, so that we will not lose a lot of power when the base scores. And we finally had some good draw there. Sumo critters are going to play a rookie sumo, discarding coach combat. We don't need to stall, we just need to score a base. This will also place a power counter on the top tier. And then I select you to play Leaferoo, shuffling back a card from our discard pile. It's very, very tempting to shuffle back in Yokozuna again. But let's go ahead with Critter Champion. And also use Rainbow Rock to shuffle back in a Rookie Sumo, because they might also come in handy later. Then draw 2, pass turn. Okay, let's play a Dragon Warrior. Or I should say the Dragon Warrior. Then we use Sifu to transfer a power counter to Cricket, kind of gathering all those counters to Cricket. But we don't want to lose Cricket when the base scores, so we have to think twice. And the plan here is to double score this turn and score Ancient Dojo first. So we are using Dragon Warrior's ability to transfer all the power counters to him and then use Fast as Lightning on him for 2 more power, and then he will also return to our hand. Then we score the base and play Expert Timing, and we will target Dragon Warrior. We can now transfer all these power counters back to one of the minions on mean streets. And then we don't really care if that minion gets destroyed, because we will win anyways. And we can also use the talent on Dragon Warrior to transfer the power counters. It was the plan to transfer those counters to any of our minions on mean street, so that base would score as well. I didn't do that here. It should have been the other way, because we wanted to score both bases. But I just thought I did it the correct way, and I will still score mean streets. So just imagine that I used Dragon Warrior to transfer the 3 power counters from the top tier to one of the minions on mean street. And we would still have enough power to win Ancient Dojo without those power counters. I came up with the plan that to transfer the power counters to a minion on mean street. I don't know why I did otherwise. It was a lot of steps to think through in advance to prepare for this turn. So yeah, one of the minions is destroyed on Main Street, and then we still win, resulting in a tie with 18 power each. Quite unusual. This game has been very tense. I think Kung Fu Clowns are the stronger faction overall, but yeah, Itty Critter Sumo Wrestlers had a lot of luck with their card draw. And now the good Clown and Kung Fu Fighter cards are finally also showing up. Critter Sumos are just playing a Rookie Sumo again, discarding one of those small Critter minions. And then after the Sumo Rookie is 4 power, we can use Evolution to search and play Critter Champion. And we desperately need her in this phase of the game. We'll go ahead and play Liveru. And guess what? We are going to shuffle back in a rookie Sumo. No, of course not. Yokozuna is going to be shuffled back into the deck. Let's see if we draw him immediately, and no. Ah, so unlucky, right? Okay, Liveru goes to the bottom of the deck. And then we pass turn. So, let's play Nickel Smart. And we will use its talent to play a random standard action from our discard pile. Let's see if it's something useful. It's Clown Pyramid. Okay, that's not really what we needed. At least we didn't need the power. We might use the extra action. We will play Colorful Scarves for 2 cards. And then we can actually play Clown Car. So the extra action from Nickel Smart actually comes in handy. That is nice. We'll go ahead and shuffle 2 cards back in. Let's pick our 2 actions that play an extra minion. We just need to score a base before our opponent does, and these actions can help a lot. And then we can use Mime to play an other action from our discard pile. But unfortunately, we didn't draw any of them. Okay. Let's play Fluffery to draw a card. No Yokozuna. And then I played Recall Critter to play Sumo Rookie. Discarding a Sumo Rookie from hand, so this Sumo Rookie will be easier to shuffle back into our discard pile. But I'm not placing any power counters because we know Dragon Warrior is in our opponent's hand. This is just to have another Rookie Sumo in our discard pile rather than in our hand. Not sure if that was the best move though. Okay, Nickel Smart, let's see what we get. Aha, Confetti Bucket. Thank you, Nickel Smart. It's exactly what we needed, of course. We'll go ahead and discard 1 card. Let's see what we get. Okay, that actually might come in handy again. You just have to be a bit creative. Okay, let's play Zobo the Clown, and then play the action we just got from Nickel Smart. Everybody knew their part to play Mime. And then we can play our very strong Clown action from our discard pile. Banana Peels. Or Banana Peel, okay. We'll play that, place that at the bottom of our deck. We can move Nickel Smart over. And then also play an extra action, which will be Pie in the Face for the last 2 power, which we don't really need, but it's always nice. And yeah, then we score tournament side, resulting in a score of 20 against 18. I don't think I've ever seen that before. This was a very close game with a lot of luck with the card draw. Yokozuna was played 3 times, I guess. But Kung Fu Clown still managed to win, and I think that's for the better. They will go to round 2, and they will have to face either Rockstars, Steambucks, or Geeks Mounties, and those will battle against each other in the next video. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next episode. Goodbye.